Hi, Jeannie. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Hi, Jenny. Thank you for inviting me.
First, can you introduce yourself for those who might be meeting you for the first time? Tell us where you live. What are you up to these days?
Sure. My name's Jeannie. I'm a freelance makeup artist living in the Bay Area. And these days, I am busy taking care of my baby. She's 2.5 years old now. I recently started a makeup business where I teach virtually. It happened through the pandemic. I originally was doing wedding makeup, and obviously all of those got canceled. But it actually worked out. And I actually started another venture, which is microblading, like for the eyebrows. And I just
I
started.
just learned that today. When did you start doing that?
Brand new. It's brand new. It's the first time I'm like telling anybody about it because I wanted to be like at least decent before I told people about it.
I feel like that's such a good idea because, well, especially during pandemic where a lot of people were just doing like Zoom calls, so everyone's looking at your face all day. I
Yeah.
really wish I had my eyebrows done because I hate doing my eyebrows every morning. And
Yeah.
I don't have any really. It's really light if I don't do my makeup. Yeah, so
Wow.
I'm really
You
excited to get it done. Yeah, I'm really excited to get it done by you when I come up in September.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Jeannie, where did you grow up? And can you tell us what did you want to be when you were younger?
I grew up in New Jersey. I'm a Jersey girl. I was born and raised there in North Jersey.
I didn't know you grew up in Jersey. For some reason, I thought you were born in Korea.
No, I wasn't. I lived in Korea for 10 years. I worked there. I was working in the music industry there. Yeah, so maybe that's why you thought I
Yeah.
for a while.
Did you want to go into music when you were little?
I think I did want to go into music at that point. I was like always in the like on the worship band, and I think being on stage, so young, I always thought like I thought that I loved being in the spotlight, but it turns out that I actually didn't like that. It turns out that my love was for worship and it wasn't for singing. Trying the entertainment business, I think it really made me think about whether I wanted to pursue it with everything that I had. Like, is this what I want to do with my life?
Mm.
And a lot of it, like being like, I don't know, can we go into the K-pop thing now or no?
Yeah. Wait, so I don't know if I think I found out that you did K-pop through Hetty. So because I don't know if a lot of people know this about
Yeah.
you, Jeannie, that you used to be in a K-pop group in
Uh-huh.
Korea. And I have so many questions I want to ask you because I don't know a lot about it. But how did you even get started to like go into K-pop? Because isn't there like a whole training process or something in Korea?
Somebody told me that the best way to do it is to go to a pageant. And they said like major Korean companies like
JYP, like that?
YP, YG, they all recruit through pageantry because it's like a major platform for, girls to show off their talent. So I did the Miss Korea pageant when I was 20. And
Were you in school in Jersey or did you move to Korea?
yeah, I was living in New York. So I was Miss New York. And then I represented New York in Korea. So I was Miss New York Korea. And so I went to Korea and then that's how I got recruited by this company called Mnet, which is kind of like the MTV of Korea. And they have like subsidiary companies training like younger kids, basically. So at first, because I hadn't graduated college, my mom was really like, unsure of whether she wanted me to pursue this. So we said, okay, let's just try 1 year. And that turned into 3 years. And you have to live with all the girls. So there's kind of like a dorm. And while I was training, I trained for between like 3 and 4 years with a team. And then I trained another 2 years by myself to become a solo artist. And so our team was made up of international girls because the point of the team was kind of to be trained in Korea, but we were supposed to debut internationally. So So the song that we debuted with was actually an English speaking song, like
Mm-hmm.
Korean in it. And we were trained by a lot of English speaking teachers. And so basically we were being trained for us to be released internationally.
So did they have like a lot of girls and then they would just assign like, oh, this is one group, this will be one group, like you mix and match, or how did that become assigned?
So before I went in, there were already like 2 or 3 girls. The main vocalist had already been chosen. And so while I was there, during the 3 or 4 years, there were many different girls that were going in and out that were they were trying to decide, like how they were going to make the team up.
Interesting.
So yeah, it was kind of like a making of a girl group kind of thing where like people are, auditioning, and then every week we have tests, we're being weighed, we're trying different styles out, and we're trying out different songs, we're training, and and a lot of times the girls would be cut, and it was like pretty cutthroat.
Oh my gosh. Wait, what is like a typical day training? Like, do they kind of set a schedule for you then the whole time you were there?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was like military training. And even amongst the trainees, our company was known as like a Spartan, like Sparta. Like our dance sessions would be about 8 hours. We maybe would have like 15 minutes to eat. And then we would have like 2 to 3 hours workout. Before that, we would have like 2 hours of vocal lessons, and then we would basically eat and then go to sleep. Sometimes we had Sundays off, but sometimes we didn't.
Only sometimes? Oh my gosh. Well, it makes sense like to train to become like a professional artist. You do have to train a lot, be prepared, but I guess that's good. Like on the outside, it could look so glamorous, but it's just like a lot. It's like boot camp, K-pop boot camp.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
My personal journey, I always felt like I wasn't good at finishing things. And so when I started this, because it was such a leap, from what I was used to as just being a student, I thought to myself, like, I really want to see this through. And so I think that was the challenge that kept me staying there and trying. But it took me a few years because you're training and training and training, you don't get a lot of time on stage. And then it took me a few years to be on stage and then realize, oh my God, like, I don't like this at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because you said that you realized that you loved singing because you loved worship, not necessarily because you love singing and spotlight. Is that kind of when you discovered it, as through this process?
I think so. I think like through that journey, I realized how important my faith was to me. And just like a lot of the music industry, and especially like girl groups, are, like cutting edge. Yeah, there was like a lot of, even like singing the lyrics of the songs, like that I didn't really feel portrayed who I was, not putting out the image that I would want to leave as my legacy. We only have one life. And at that age, it really made me think about it. Like, is this what I want to be putting out there, to the world? Is this what I want to be my voice? Yeah, so I think that was a big thing. And then also there's just so much competition. And, it was like towards the end of my contract. And I was thinking, like, even if I become like really famous and I became like Ihori, like, would I be so happy? And I thought to myself, I don't know if I would like that. I don't know if I would feel fulfilled by that. And so I think in the end, that was what made me leave the industry.
That's really cool. Thanks for sharing, Jeannie. I feel like, one, it's really fascinating just to get to hear that experience because I think a lot of women are curious about what it's like, but it's also a good reminder that happiness and loving your life and peace and all that isn't just when you seek fame, but it's in all these other things, and you kind of experienced both. How did you decide to leave? And then is that when you moved back to the States?
Oh no, I was like in a long-term relationship at the time, and I think I was like 26 or 25, something like that. And that's like quite old to be doing like K-pop, especially like 15 years ago. So yeah, I'm old.
Old. I didn't know 25 is considered old in Korea
Yeah,
for doing music.
because a lot of girls they debut at like 17 and they're starting training at 13. So when I was 24, 25, and my contract was up, I was in a long-term relationship with someone like 5 years, and he was like, "Hey, I want to get married." And so I was like, "Yeah, like, I want to start a new chapter in my life too." And so we got married. I think it was like 24, 25. And then at 29, I got divorced.
Mm.
And everything that I knew was in the States because I was born and raised here. So I decided to come back. Yeah, and that's why I came back.
Mm. And I always appreciated, Jeannie, that you're so like open about like your life and your testimony and really like I don't know, I feel like you just really believe in not living in fear or shame. So even like the divorce or like even grief and losing people you love, like both things that could feel kind of lonely, like you're so open about that. Like what makes you so open, you think, to share these things? Like did you ever feel, do you know what I mean? Like what makes you feel so open to want to share that with people and encourage other people that way?
Yeah, I think going through that, it gives you compassion for people going through the same thing. And I've been through that loneliness, and I wish I had somebody tell me their experience, but there's just so much shame around it, being divorced. There's shame around grief too. People don't want to talk about it. They don't want to burden people with it. And just I think to, you know, having my life be an open book, and using everything that I've experienced, um, to encourage people to keep going. Like, I kind of feel like that's my calling, you know?
Mm.
I have no shame in my life, and I really think that every story is beautiful, all the ups and downs. Um, Nothing's finished yet, and God keeps working in us. And yeah, like all we have to boast in is God, right? So
Mm.
um, yeah, I really feel like my life is not my own, and there's always somebody that needs to know that they're not alone too. So yeah, I'm happy to share.
I love that. Yeah. You mentioned in the beginning you're a makeup artist, and
Mhm.
then you transitioned during COVID to do more virtual makeup styling as well as like creating this community on Instagram. I've messaged you a few times about this, that I've seen it be like it feels like you're really creating this like authentic community on Instagram where you are talking about beauty, but you're also just making other women feel really good about themselves. Like, how did you decide to like lean into this on Instagram?
I think it was really organic. Like doing makeup, you know, to to be able to see that transformation right before your eyes, and then to see like the women look at themselves and be like, "Oh my God, I'm so beautiful," like that is so fulfilling for me. To just be able to have that woman in front of me, like see the beauty that God has made in her. And then I was like, oh my God, I want to keep doing this. I want to keep doing this. Like, it feels so good. But I think like I always had a hard time with beauty being my gift because I have such a strong relationship with God. I always felt like my gift wasn't like holy enough.
Ooh, okay.
And so, I kept on trying to go into like ministry. Like I was like, maybe I should become a pastor because I really do have a heart for healing and grief and all of that. And then I realized, wait, I'm not that good at academics.
Okay.
And then like being a mom and all that, it was like too hard. And I was like, okay, Lord, I don't know if I can do this right now, especially raising a toddler. So kind of put that on hold. And then I was like talking to one of my friends and she was like, oh, Jeannie, have you read this article? And it was like a Christian article. Basically, it was saying how everything is holy. Everything is made by God and everything is holy. The only reason why something is secular is because of the way that we approach it or because of the way that the world sees it. But, anything given to God, like God can make it for his glory. And that was really freeing for me. And then I just kind of like became all in because I felt free to use my gift. Like, okay, my gift is good enough. Like my gift of beauty is good enough. It is something that can help. It is something valuable. And so yeah, like I kind of felt like God was giving me the go ahead, like do your thing. Like this is how I made you,
Mm.
for me to be able to just embrace that and go with it. It took me 36 years to do that. But I knew even as a child that I had a gift in beauty. Like to doing like even as a child, I was braiding all my Barbie's hairs and cutting their hair. And like I was always into that even when I was like 3 or 4. But as I got older, I think like being in the music industry, I was like, oh, like is what I have to say good enough? Is that kind of question had always been inside of me. And it also came over to the beauty side because I was like, oh, is beauty much different than like music? Like in that a lot of secular music, it basically talks about like being sexy and being pretty and like all of that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, like beauty falls into that category, right? Of just vanity and shallowness. And then just realizing like, no, it's actually really a powerful and like a powerful gift. And a lot of grief actually is healed through beauty.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I finally found that connection of grief and beauty where I felt like God was giving me the mission of healing with grief. And he gave me a gift of beauty. And I was like, Lord, like, how do I connect these? Like, I really don't understand. But you even think about like when someone passes, how do you show your love? You show it through like flowers, right? Through beauty. And so I finally this year I found that the gift that I have it's valuable and it's powerful. And so that's why I finally leaned into it.
I don't know why I'm getting kind of emotional listening to you. And I didn't even know we were going to go this direction, but I feel like I've talked to a lot of friends who we grew up in similar church circles. And I think really well-intended phrases and guidance, but really around like, I think our takeaway sometimes was like pursuing things, like giving up things that you love is a form of denying yourself or dying to yourself. And that's holy. And so I think for so long, like, and I still have friends now who still wrestle with this of like, I feel like that wasn't right, but I don't know how to let it go of not feeling guilty if I want to pursue these things. And so even me doing things like when I first started the Coffee and Honeycomb podcast or when I decided to do YouTube, like it really felt like excitement, but mixed with this feeling of guilt of I'm doing something that's not about dying to myself or denying myself or, you know what I mean? And so I think I am still learning what it means to live in freedom and that God made us all a certain way. And that I love what you said, like not, we create our own arbitrary lines of what's holy versus secular, but that like God can make everything holy and that he creates us as we are and like gives us gifts as we are. And we don't have to shine, like dim those lights. And so I don't know. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
You don't have to water it down. Like if anything, you know, and just even being a mom and seeing like all the gifts that I, you know, my daughters too, and already I see that she has certain gifts, and I see like, wow, God made her so specific, and He also made me so specifically, and we just need to live that out, because I think as children we know what God called us to do, but as we get older, all of these other voices come into our head and tell us, you know, that's not good enough. No, that's not your direction. That's too risky. But I think right now for me, I'm just letting go of all of those things and just really focusing on what God has for me, and not being scared to take that path, and not letting someone else say that that path isn't good enough, you know? So even myself, you know, sometimes we say it to ourselves, no, you know, that's not a good enough path, or that's not a worthwhile path. But yeah, just like listening to that small voice inside that's saying, go for it, you know?
Well, I'm so encouraged, and I love seeing your stuff on Instagram. So please keep sharing looks. Okay, should we move on to our fun little segment, which I've never done before, Jeannie, but we're thinking of doing a what's in my makeup bag.
Yes. Okay. So I was thinking about it, and I didn't bring my makeup bag, but I wanted to show you guys some of my top like favorite products. So I did that instead, and I thought that would be better, because makeup bag is kind of like, it's like smaller, and some things that I really love I couldn't show you guys. So I wanted to show you like some of my top favorite products.
Okay, I'm excited. I'm going to ask you questions too.
Okay, so first thing that I use, this is what I use today on my skin. I don't know if you can see it. It's the Bliss Invisible Daily Sunscreen. It has a little bit of tint, a little color, so like you can still see my skin showing through, but it's a tiny bit of coverage. So
do you reapply sunscreen throughout the day?
No, I don't.
Just in the morning, right? Me too.
I should, but I don't. Okay, next, this is my empty, but this is like a emerald CBD oil, and I love this product. It's like,
what's the brand?
It's by Herbivore, like a natural brand, but you can see like I used all of it up. I think I bought it like 4 times. I love it so much. It's like such a light oil, and it just sinks into your skin. It doesn't like really leave too much of a residue. And the CBD, it works basically, you know, if you ingest CBD, it kind of loosens you up. It's the same thing for your wrinkles and your skin. You put CBD on your skin, it like loosens everything up and lets everything.
No way! I want to get it.
So yeah, try that. The next is it's by Peach and Lily. They're kind of like a sister brand called Peach Slices. This is a snail rescue. It has snail mucin in it, 95% snail mucin. And this is like it started in Korea, the snail mucin being used in skin products. And it's like a natural antibacterial. It's for blemishes, because I'm getting a lot of like pimples from like the mask knee.
Me too.
And then help clears pores, strengthens the skin barrier. It's so good. It's like one of my favorite toners.
Do you do it morning and night?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Next,
everything.
Sorry, this is so dirty because like I use it so much, but this is the vitamin C CE Ferulic by SkinCeuticals, and this really helped to clear up my skin. Like, it's the only vitamin C product that I've used that has actually lightened my dark spots, because after you have a baby, the melanin in your skin kind of gets darker, like, and then like if you have any freckles or anything, it gets darker on your skin. So to kind of like brighten my skin, I've been using the vitamin C, and it's been great. And then this is like a new product. I actually put this on before our interview, but this is a new brand that I found called Noors, short for Know Your Skin. And this is like a rose. It's also AAPI owned company. and this is like a rose mask. And I've been looking for like a good mask for so many years, and I just haven't really found one that I actually absolutely love. And this product, like I actually bought it with my own money. I bought like 10 boxes because I was like, I'm gonna give it to everyone. So highly recommend this.
Where do you buy that?
Just on their website.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then my last product, and this is one I bought another one of these. This is my second time buying this. It's called Water Drench Hyaluronic Cloud Cream by Peter Thomas Roth. He's a dermatologist, and you can buy this at like Sephora. It's like a gel, but I have like really dry skin. So instead of just the serum, I'll put this on first, and then I'll put on a cream, and then I'll put on the CBD oil. And finally, like I woke up the next morning after doing all three, and I didn't wake up with dry skin, because usually in the morning my skin feels like kind of tight. But yeah, after doing those 3 steps, I felt fine.
Jeannie, what do you do about blackheads? Do you get blackheads?
Yeah, definitely.
What do you do? What products do you use?
I like to use the Glow Recipe Papaya, the makeup cleanser.
Okay.
So it's really important for blackheads that you use like an oil cleanser to kind of like loosen up the blackheads. And then I use like an exfoliator, an AHA exfoliator. I use the Ren exfoliator. It's called a Glow Tonic. And it's a chemical exfoliant. And just, repeatedly using those 2 products, I think has helped with blackheads.
Oh, okay. Oh, I have to ask my one last beauty question, which was from my friend, which is for Asian women who have monolids. Do you have a beauty secret or makeup secret or anything like that on putting on makeup for monolids or anything like that?
A more modern way to do monolids is instead of using eyeliner, to use eyeshadow. A lot of times people will put like eyeliner all the way up to their, like up to here, like a thick eyeliner, which is also like a look. But I think if you want like a cleaner look, what you could do is use eyeshadow to give you that definition without having a very blocky look, because when you have monolids, your crease folds in. So in order for you to see any type of line or definition, you have to keep on drawing the liner, and it gets super thick. And so when you close your eyes, it's just like a block of eyeliner. So a more like modern way of doing that now is just using a little bit of eyeliner on around your lash area, and then to give yourself a little bit more definition with eyeshadow.
Like a brown eyeshadow or black eyeshadow?
Yeah, like either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good tip. Good tip.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jeannie, for sitting with me and sharing your story and giving us your favorite makeup products. I feel like this was such a treat to get to hear all of that.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Jeannie.